Hello and welcome to this edition of The Current Report, our weekly roundup of what's happening in the world of digital media. We've reported a lot about the red-hot retail media space, but this week we're focusing our attention on another set of competitors that are tapping into the retail media space on their ad platforms, ride-hailing and food delivery services. It's perhaps not a surprise that such apps want a piece of the action. The retail media market is forecast to grow almost 10% this year, according to new estimates from Group M. And that's even faster growth than the 6% forecast for the digital ad market as a whole. Last week, European food delivery giant Delivery Hero pointed to its ad tech offering as one of the reasons for its bullish outlook. Meanwhile, in the US, ride-hailing firm Lyft introduced new ad products, likely as an attempt to compete with Uber, which has its own plan to introduce new ad formats onto its app. Well, joining me now to talk about these moves is our reporter, Zach Wang. Hi, Zach.
Hi, Damian. Thanks for having me.
To what extent are these moves by the ride-hailing and food delivery apps inspired by what's happening in the retail media space?
Well, obviously, they're seeing the huge potential in the space. You've mentioned some of the numbers, the Group M figures. The growth in the space is really incredible. And these apps already have millions of users, accustomed to using the app, to shopping on the app. These users are, at the point of purchase, they're really primed, for purchasing, and so this is really a really great opportunity for them to capture more revenue, and users who are more keen on impulse purchases, who want convenience, something delivered really fast. So it kind of opens up a new subset of consumers, if you will.
Yeah, it's an interesting space. And are these ad offerings proving to be lucrative for these services?
Yeah, I'll say so. Give you a couple of examples. Uber recently reported a $500 million annual run rate for its ad sales. Its competitor Lyft didn't report exact figures, but they did say they grew revenue 400% year on year in the second quarter of this year. So some pretty impressive figures. And at the end of the day, these companies are under pressure, like retailers as well, to really boost the profit margins, to find new avenues of growth. And from what we're seeing, this could be really, a big one for them.
It seems like ride-hailing apps want to monetize all services that are likely to be seen, and this isn't just in the US and the UK, but it's everywhere around the world.
Yeah, I think you could say that. One of the recent announcements to come out of Uber was that they will start running full-length video ads on their apps. They're going to start installing in-car screens in select US cities. That's something that's not necessarily new, right? Lyft has been doing that for a while. If you look outside of the US, you've got Gojek in Indonesia, where the dominant player there. They've been doing that for a while, right? They've got sort of these hybrid kind of digital out-of-home screens, if you will, attached to the back of motorcycles.
Yeah. In your reporting, you say that these apps could find themselves competing with retailers and their own ambitions to capture ad spend. Could this be a sort of challenge?
Well, yeah, that's definitely an interesting dynamic there. To be sure, it does introduce more competition for ad dollars. It just adds a new dimension, right? A new kind of cohort of consumers as well, as we talked about. And one of the important things here is that there are going to be overlapping categories. We've got CPG or consumer packaged goods, food, obviously, alcohol as well is going to be a big one. But at the same time, some of these apps are positioning themselves as digital partners to these retailers. A spokesperson from Delivery Hero told me that they see themselves more as partners than competitors. But other experts told me it's tough to say that it's full-on partner or competitor. It's likely to be kind of a mix of both, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Zach, thanks very much for all your reporting on this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Also this week, we're covering the rise of shoppable TV ads, which means that you can add items to your shopping cart with a click of your TV remote, allowing you to make a purchase inside a streaming platform. It's a whole new world of CTV commerce, or T-commerce, as some people have dubbed it. Innovation is already well underway, with the likes of Roku partnering up with Walmart and Shopify in the last year. And that collaboration has proved a big success, with 3 times higher click-through rates than the average campaign, according to Walmart. And meanwhile, NBC Universal aligned shoppable items with its hit show Love Island to let Peacock viewers buy the same outfits sported by the contestants, if you can believe that. Love Island fans take this stuff seriously, with 40 to 70% of viewers saying they were likely to buy these items. Some say this new level of interactive TV has cracked the code on shoppable ads. For more on this story, go to thecurrent.com. Next, our weekly roundup of what's making news across the internet. Elements of Europe's sweeping Digital Services Act is now in effect. The new regulation is designed to limit the spread of potentially harmful content, including advertising. To start, 19 of the biggest online platforms in the world, from TikTok to YouTube to Facebook, will have to identify and flag possible illegal content and take it down. If they don't follow the rules, they could potentially be fined a percentage of their revenue, which could add up to a substantial figure. And don't call it a comeback, but malls in America are thriving. A recent report found malls are drawing bigger crowds than before the pandemic, with increases in annual growth, occupancy rate, and foot traffic. And while e-commerce was once seen as a threat to physical stores, many retailers are now using their physical and digital properties to complement each other. The latest evolution in how malls operate speaks to the ever-changing dynamics of retail today. And that's it for this edition of The Current Report. For a deeper dive on all of these stories and more, check out thecurrent.com. We'll see you next week.